Well, behind the scenes of sailing, the sailing alpha results are in. I'm actually really excited to take a look at this. So 2 weeks ago, the sailing alpha playtest went live. It's the largest public playtest we've ever run. We were thrilled to see so many of you taking to the seas for the first time, learning the ropes and getting hands-on experience with old school RuneScape's first new skill. Okay, so yeah, it was pretty fun to be honest. Like, it was definitely an interesting experience. There were things to obviously complain about, but it's obviously just the very start, and nothing was finalized. It was just kind of to get a feel for the skill, and let me know in the comments what you guys thought of it. Yeah, so a massive thank you to everyone who took part in the playtest. It was incredible. 69,000 people set sail last week. That's a pretty big number for the playtest, and you know, a lot of people wanted nothing to do with the skill or didn't even care for it to be in the game. So that's a pretty big number. So let's look at the survey data. This is going to be very interesting. So in August 2023, how did you vote on sailing's lock-in poll? So basically, should sailing be added as old school RuneScape's first new skill? And this was the differences here were sailing, shamanism, and I think it was taming. Yes. So pretty much 57% of people said yes for sailing to be the new first skill. 18% didn't vote on sailing. 14% said no flat out. Okay, so yeah, this is very interesting. So as you can see, like 57%. So it's still like majority, I guess. So yeah, if you look at this here, 57% of people said yes, almost 14% said no, and then 19% of people did not vote on sailing at all. And then what is your regular character's total level? So basically the account you play the most, Ironman, whatever it is, let's check their total levels. And yeah, most people are between 1,800 and 2,100 total, which is really nice to see that there's that many people that kind of far into the game. And as you can see, a huge number of max players that voted as well. So yeah, I guess it's more so like they want like people that have actually experienced, played the game, know what they're doing to be voting on the skill, rather than somebody who maybe just made a new account to vote no or whatever. So are you more positive about sailing than before you played the alpha? And look at this, 77, almost 78% of people said yes. There was a bunch of people that, especially some content creators that I follow, that wanted nothing to do with sailing at all and had some different thoughts actually when they played the alpha, which is nice to see. I always wanted a new skill myself in the game. Didn't really know what to think of sailing. A lot of people were calling it mini game and whatever, but yeah, I was actually a little more happy when I played it too. I liked the movement of it. I liked the way you kind of gain experience. So yeah, I would even say yes for myself here too. So now that you've tried the alpha, how do you feel about sailing being added to old school RuneScape after development is finished? So yeah, this one, very happy, is 46%. That is very crazy to see, to be honest. I didn't, like, from a lot of the things I heard online, people were not happy with it at all. And then additional 26% of people were happy with it. So that's really good to see. Only 5% of people were unhappy, and almost like 11% of people were very unhappy. So again, it's just like the alpha, right? There's going to be a lot of changes to it. They're just going to make it better and better. But I'm actually very surprised to see that this many people are happy with it. So did the sailing content in the alpha have at least one training method that matched your preferred style of play? I would say 100%, man. I liked all of them pretty much. Besides the sea charting, I thought was a little dumb because you just kind of like go to a point once, and I don't know, it wasn't for me personally. But most of the other training methods were really good. It had AFK methods, it had really high intensity methods, and it had kind of like in between, like the delivery service methods were pretty good. So yeah, a whopping 82, almost 83% of people said that it matched their preferred style of play, which is nice to see. Here we go. So how easy was it for you to control your boat? And 46% of people said it was easy. Another 36% it was very easy. So that's actually another really good thing to see. There was a couple times during the alpha where I got stuck completely and had to teleport away. So I'm hoping like this, obviously things like that do get fixed. Maybe I just didn't know how to reverse the boat, but I tried for a good 10 minutes when I was stuck between these two rocks and I couldn't get out. So I had to teleport out. So yeah, there's some bugs maybe, you know, that they're obviously going to fix it and make it a lot better. But for most of the actual controlling the boat, it was very easy. And I like the fact that you could just run through other players the same as you're walking. You know, there's no ship crashing and stuff like that. And the whole like getting off of the boat on a dock was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I thought you had to almost like park it every time. You could just kind of right click the guy and get out of the boat very easy and get right back on your boat very easy too. Yeah, the whole movement was actually very good in my personal opinion. So I would actually say easy. I wouldn't say it's very easy. So yeah. So how did you find the sailing side panel? Okay, so simple 48%, very simple 19. These numbers are actually extremely high compared to what I thought it was going to be. I thought a lot of people weren't going to like this. Me personally, the side panel I wasn't a big fan of. I wish they would make some changes to this. I don't know, I guess it kind of has to be a side panel type thing, you know, like that's kind of how old school works, and it would be annoying if some other window popped up, you know what I mean? It wasn't bad by any means, but I personally think it could use some improvement. So how easily did you understand the upgrade options? Honestly, it was kind of like self-explanatory. We only had the two little boats and you could only make very small upgrades to them. So I'm assuming like as you progress the skill, get it a little higher, you'll be able to kind of understand what more of the facilities that in the boat will actually do for you. And you know, it's very simple. It's similar to construction. Like you want to build this, it tells you the materials you need, you build it, and that's pretty much about it. In that one boat too, you had to use that like rune thing that made you boost faster. That was also very easy to use too, you know, very self-explanatory. And maybe they could even like show this in like another type of quest. I don't know, the quest to me was kind of weird, but yeah, maybe they could show it better in some other introductory quest, but yeah. So how enjoyable was the Tempor Tantrum? Was this sort of like the Barracuda trials? I'm not even sure, but a lot of people, 31% said it was extremely fun. Another whopping 46% of people said it was fun, and only 4% of people said it was unfun. So that's actually another really good thing to see. This is the thing I personally like the most, the port tasks. I don't know what it is. I used to do like food delivery, so it kind of reminded me of the days that I did that. And I liked it because you got a big chunk of experience for doing so, and it just made a lot of sense. It was in the first quest type thing, right? So yeah, 43% of people liked it. Only 15% of people strongly liked it, so it's a higher percentage of people that were like or didn't like it at all. I don't know, I like the port tasks quite a bit. And then we go down to the sea charting. This was my thing that I didn't like really. I don't know, I feel like it could definitely use some improvement, maybe better UI to kind of help you with these tasks. I'm sure like when it gets released we'll have like a wiki page that'll show you how to do everything, you know what I mean, or even a Runelite plugin. But for now, personally, I didn't like this sea charting as much, but almost 32% of people liked it, and 21% of people liked it a lot. So another high percentage of people like or didn't really like it at all, or even didn't even try it, you know. It was kind of something you had to almost go out of the way to do on the alpha. So how did you feel about the shipwreck salvaging? This is the AFK method. And yeah, I knew people would like this. Strongly like it. So strongly like was like 28%, and like it was like 35%. So yeah, this was very nice method where you kind of just go up to a boat or a crash ship, I guess. There's like 3 in an area, and you just kind of go up to it and you put the salvaging hook out and you AFK. You get some materials, you can store them in your boat too. You move to the next ship, you grab some more materials. When you have a bunch of materials, you go to the port and you can, salvage them to make money, gain experience. It's a very slow way of training sailing, but it's the AFK method. So I personally really liked this and definitely can see myself doing a lot of this when sailing actually does come into the game. When I need to, edit videos or just do something AFK, I will probably be doing the shipwreck salvaging. So it's good to see a lot of people liked this. I knew they kind of would. It's the type of players we are. If you play RuneScape, you love AFK. So if you discuss old school RuneScape online, where do you do this? Most people are saying in-game or on Discord, which definitely makes sense. And then people that say never would be on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, other platforms, YouTube, which is kind of surprising to me. I guess if you don't make videos or whatever, but I mean, people comment on videos, right? I don't know. So yeah, it's good to see some of these statistics. So it's encouraging to see that none of the training methods stood out as overwhelmingly negative, something that can't always be said for existing skills in the game. I know a lot of people are always like, yeah, screw this skill, we don't need it. But like, imagine something like agility or fire making coming out today. Like, people wouldn't like it, like you burn logs and that's the whole skill. Like, especially before winter tide, you know what I mean? Or agility, you run laps. Like, it's very basic. This sailing skill has so much actual potential with it, and there's so many cool things, and it really does have to be a masterpiece, to kind of like fit in with the community today. They can't release somebody, I forget who it was, but somebody said it really well. Back in the day, we had like a couple bosses like the giant mole, even like God Wars or whatever, right? And they're very, very simple bosses, right? So if they released something like that today as like a high-end game content, it would be like, nobody would really want to do it unless it had crazy rewards, right? But yeah, they kind of have to release things like raids now to almost excite the players. So it's the same with sailing. It has to be a huge skill that has so many training methods and is actually kind of fun to do. So yeah, so many skills have training methods that players either tolerate for efficiency or outright avoid. I see you, agility. So it's reassuring to see such a positive response for sailing's early gameplay. Of course, preferences will vary, and that's expected. These methods were designed to cater to different playstyles, ensuring that there's something enjoyable for everyone. And I think they did a great job with that. So one key takeaway is that players who filled out the survey during the alpha had a largely positive experience, suggesting that players' hands-on experience with sailing is much more impactful than showing updates only in blogs or videos. 100%, especially for something this big. I think there has to be many playtests, you know what I mean? I'm really hoping there will be another one soon. I even had the idea, how we got to like level 30. Maybe in the next one we can say get to level 40, 50, I don't know, give us some more content to kind of really dive into the skill. I got to level 30 in like an hour and a half, maybe even an hour, right? So it's one of those things where I'd love to actually be able to play it a lot more, but they can't give us the whole skill. So I don't know what they're gonna do. Maybe, give us like level 40 or something, but have a new training method that we can do, or I really don't know. And yeah, all the feedback obviously is helping, and there's plenty of room for improvement for the skill, obviously, right? It's just one of those things where it's going to get better and better. This was like the worst version of sailing you will ever see, and I thought it was really good. So another interesting data point from the survey is that the majority of Sailing Alpha participants said they do not actively engage with social media for discussions about old school RuneScape. Yeah, I kind of thought that was very weird because that's kind of all I do. I'm on YouTube quite a bit, you know what I mean? I sometimes occasionally go on Discord, but I mostly do chatting in game and I guess on YouTube. This is an important consideration as it highlights that feedback seen on some platforms does not fully represent the overall community's experience with sailing. No, it's one of those things where most of the things online, I would say a lot of them anyways, are just extremely negative all the time. I don't know why. It's just kind of how people are, right? They see something that they don't even try. Like a lot of the people probably commenting like, fuck sailing and blah, blah, blah. It's a mini game. I doubt they even tried the alpha. It's just one of those things, right? Where they want to keep it old school forever for some reason. So here's some of the feedback, obviously. So yeah, boats getting stuck, something that did happen to me. It appears that there was specific locations where boats can just get stuck. We implemented escape options on boats, but it's not a permanent fix, obviously. This issue appears to be related to mapping rather than navigational mechanics. Yeah, like I said, I was trying to reverse. I kind of like went back and forth for about 10 minutes and I just couldn't get out of these two rocks. So in the short term, we're compiling a list of problematic locations flagged during the playtest so we can resolve them. However, a long-term solution is needed to prevent the issue entirely. We're exploring an engine side fix, possibly a tool that detects and corrects these spots automatically. That's great to hear. So XP rates, we acknowledge the confusion around XP rates as different speculative figures have been mentioned by various team members. To clarify, XP rates are not finalized and balancing is always one of the last steps in development. Right now, our priority is making sure each training method feels distinct and enjoyable. We're more concerned about how each training method balances in relation to one another. We started with conservative XP rates, and player feedback suggests that they should be higher. Of course, they just want to max the skill and get it over with, right? Some skills in old school RuneScape are known for being slow to train, while others are fast. But sailing, early progression may have felt slower. I thought it was actually fast. I thought, like I said, I got to like level 30 in like an hour and a half. Maybe it was longer than that, I don't know. But yeah, sailing early progression may have felt slower simply because it's a brand new skill and the alpha was limited to the starter zones. That is also very true. Sailing will have meaningful progression throughout levels 1 to 99, ensuring higher levels feel engaging rather than a grind. Like I said, I didn't feel like it was a grind at all, even getting to level 30 in the basic starter zone. So I don't know, some people just want it to be fast, I guess. So port task, quality of life. We saw several requests for improvements to port tasks, the most notable one being able to carry more cargo per trip. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so like some of the tasks were like carry 4 and you had to like, you know, grab the cargo, go to the boat, put it in the boat, get off the dock again, and rinse and repeat. So yeah, that would be definitely cool instead of having to make multiple runs, especially if you forget an item. Yeah, you sail all the way there and it's like, yeah, you need one more. And it's like, I don't want to do that. So we plan to address this by allowing crewmates to assist with loading and unloading cargo as you progress in sailing. You'll gain access to more convenient upgrades that reduce back and forth trips. Yeah, that'd be nice, obviously. If you have like 2 crewmates, they could go grab 2 boxes, you grab 1, boom, done, you know what I mean? Very nice. Some of you even suggested that strength level could influence how much cargo you carry. Well, that's not something we've got firm plans for right now. You definitely sparked our interest. Yeah, 99 strength, you just got like all these crates. Yeah, that's a good idea. So sailing water visuals, great one to point out. So compared to land where there are landmarks and scenery, the open sea can feel a bit empty. I said this in the alpha, like certain parts of the map were nice, you could kind of see everything, but there were other parts of the map where like you looked all ways. It reminded me of almost Minecraft when you're sailing a boat and you're like in the middle of the ocean. There's nothing around. It was kind of like that at certain parts of the ocean. So I know they're going to be adding more islands and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it did feel like a little bit empty almost. So yeah, I definitely see that, and they should add stuff to kind of help with that. Oh, this is a big one. A lot of the people on mobile were upset, so we understand that many of you were eager to try sailing on mobile, and we appreciate your patience. While sailing is technically functional on mobile, we wanted to ensure a smoother experience before making it available for the testing. That makes sense, but it's one of those things where they maybe even should have just waited so that all players could do it, because there are a lot of players that just play on mobile, and the fact that they couldn't even try it sucked, to be honest. But I do understand Jagex, because if they launched it on mobile and it wasn't quite ready, all those players would just be like, I don't want sailing, blah, 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 blah. So it does kind of make sense, but I think they should have waited to maybe do it so everyone could try it at the same time. So sea charting, we heard your feedback on sea charting could feel more rewarding. Many completionist style activities grant permanent rewards and players expected something similar. Yeah, I don't, it's one of those things, right, where I don't mind doing these little tasks. They almost felt like achievement diaries or, one small favor quest. But you know, it's like, oh, you get a little bit of XP. Like, I could have got way more XP for just doing a simple port task. So to me, the sea charting didn't really make any sense, and there were so many weird things with it, like letting the duck out and blah blah blah. I only just did a couple of them, but yeah, you know, if you do say all of the Karamja sea charting, maybe you get something that will kind of like almost make you want to do it for the reward. Some players pointed out inaccuracies in the terminology used for the ocean map labels. Thanks for catching that, so that's nice to see. Boat speed, a few players felt that boats were too slow. Yeah, they definitely were. Maybe, I was thinking, when you get like a better boat or something like that, you can get something to kind of help it. I really don't know what they could do for that, but yeah, obviously the alpha was limited to level 30, right? So boat speed will increase as you upgrade your ship, you know, get movement and stuff like that. So eventually it will get faster, but yeah, some of those port tasks just felt like they took forever, man. So yeah, looking ahead, what can we expect? So obviously, you know, if you took part in the alpha, you may have noticed lots of new and exciting islands and ports of interest out at sea. Yeah, there's lots of brand new things. Some of them we couldn't obviously check out, and yeah, what we have to look forward to, obviously, over the next few months, you can look forward to multiple design blogs and polls, all of which will cover the content found in sailing. These include polls for new quests, a hybrid training method, rewards, resources, bosses, and etc. So all of these tie into existing skills and have effects on the main game. It's kind of funny to me how sailing is going to be a skill where a lot of it is kind of almost focused on the rewards from it and training other skills, like getting new resources to train other skills, which reminds me a lot of dungeoneering from back in the day, the other mini game skill, where you just trained all your other skills in dungeoneering. It's kind of funny how that kind of almost works out. And alongside all of that, your feedback will be taken into account as we prepare for the future sailing beta. So that's going to be the next kind of thing, I guess the next sort of playtest that we all get to do, and very excited for that. Well, yeah, the poll results definitely shocked me. They're kind of crazy. I'm really happy to see that so many people actually liked sailing compared to what I thought, you know what I mean? I guess the results don't really lie. Now, this is completely off topic, but I've been getting some comments lately. Why are you cooking so much? I'm going for 200 mil, and I'm currently at 92 million. So people are asking me how far along the journey I am for cooking. As you can see, look at the Karamban stack right here. Whew, how much is this? 120 million GP in Karambans, but yeah, almost 120, which is pretty cool. But yeah, thank you guys for watching the video. I will catch you in the next one. See ya later.